So as the days are getting longer now, the chickens are producing more eggs. We've been seeing a steady increase. Throughout the winter, we were getting maybe 3 or 4 eggs a day, and then it got up to 6 and 7, now 8. Well, yesterday we got the mother load so far. We got 10. Got 10 eggs out of 12 hens. Here's our eggs. These are the blue eggs I've been telling you about. That's from the Americanas. We got Buff Orpingtons and New Hampshires produce the brown eggs. Now, as you see, we didn't wash them because there's a layer of protective coating around it that keeps it from spoiling. So I was really happy with that. I didn't have enough arms to put them in. My hands were full, so I had to come up here, get an egg cart, go back down there and pick them up. That was neat to see, though, when I opened it up and there was that many eggs. So as you know, we eat eggs primarily for lunch, but I think I said yesterday's video. It might have been yesterday's video. I may have not said it at all. Sitting around here doing the second channel, I've been eating a healthy lunch every day, like I was working every day. I was eating the same amount of eggs, splitting wood during the day as I was making videos and sitting at the computer all day long. So the other day I asked Carolyn not to feed me many eggs. Yesterday I didn't eat any lunch, and I just suffered through. I actually did pretty good. I wasn't hungry very much, so I felt like, oh good, this is working already. So this is the second day. I'm not going to eat anything for lunch today too. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure somebody out there is going to say, oh, you got to eat 3 squares a day and all that. I'm just going to try with 1. And so yesterday I ate supper. We had 2 pork steaks. Oh man, Carolyn does a fantastic job putting breading over the pork steaks, and it's just awesome. And I had 4 eggs. I was okay throughout the night as we were watching TV. I noticed I was getting a little hungry, and I almost asked Carolyn to make some popcorn. I thought, nah, I can do it, and I'm fine. This morning I ate a spoon, or well, a forkful actually, of peanut butter. Keep my blood sugar at the proper limits and all that. So we're reducing the amount of food that we're consuming, and I think this is important, especially with things going crazy like they are. Obviously, every day the news just getting worse and worse. So as of this recording yesterday, the president said that he was not going to import any more oil from Russia. So obviously the gas prices are going to go up. I haven't been to town in 2 days, maybe 2 days, so I don't know what the gas prices are. Last time we got it, I think it was $3.79, I think it was. And the news said this morning that gas prices went up on an average of 40 cents overnight. So I have no idea where we're at now. We may be at $4. I don't know. This is obviously pretty concerning to me. I'm sure it's concerning to everybody, but I don't know what everybody else is doing. I just know what we're doing. I mean, I can park the truck and be fine without the truck, but it's that generator that I am really concerned about, using so much gas. So again, today we figured out what it is that we would have to say, okay, enough with the gas, and we'll switch over to that propane. If gas gets to $7, well, about $6.50 actually, which it looks like it might, we'll switch over to propane. And then we can go to Dollar General, which is a few miles down the road. We can start swapping out tanks for propane. It's going to be high, but on the other hand, I've said this before, I'm going to get a couple more batteries. With the days being shorter, this is what's so hard about living off grid, is the days being shorter in the wintertime. Somebody said, why don't I get more solar panels? I don't have a problem with solar. I got enough solar. So I need to explain what cloudy days does to solar panels. The batteries will charge up on cloudy days. I've got enough solar panels that they will do that. So there's 2 things going on. The days are so short, I have to rely on the batteries longer throughout the night than I do in the summer months. So in the summer, I have too much solar panels. So I got just enough for the winter. So winter also depletes the batteries with the cold. If it's 50 degrees one night, I have no problems with the batteries. I get through the night just fine. If it's 20 degrees the next night, the batteries won't make it through. It depletes the batteries. I tried to explain this the other day in a video, and somebody said that's not right. You should have plenty of batteries. You need solar panels. It's not that the batteries can't make it through amp-wise. It's that there's not enough batteries when it gets cold. I'll get a couple more and that'll take care of that problem. But you see it with your car. You can put a brand new battery in your car and it get down to 10 degrees and your car doesn't want to start. Well, I mean, there's just a lot of things going on, but the primary reason is because the battery is depleted. And I don't know how much depletion you get out of a battery per temperature. I've never really looked it up. Maybe I should do that. So as the summer months approach and we get more daylight, we're going to get more eggs and more energy out of our batteries. I wanted to give you an update on the well. I think this is important. I was able to find this property for $4,200 and it's got a water source. I can't tell you how important that is. Being a nomad really taught me how important water is. We were living off 40 gallons for 2 weeks. That was with laundry, drinking water, cooking, showers, all of it. We had to do all that with 40 gallons. That's 5 buckets of water. That's all it was. There just wasn't any water, so we would have to survive for 2 weeks. Of course, we always tried to find campgrounds that had water. That made things nice, but occasionally you just couldn't do that. When we went to the Grand Canyon, water was nowhere in sight. There was no water anywhere. The closest water source, I think, was 100 miles away. So we spent 4 weeks in the Grand Canyon area in the North Rim, not the South Rim, the North Rim. And then we swung around to Flagstaff and we stayed over there for a while. So I think that was a Coconino. But that was pretty tough trying to survive in that kind of water. So you're collecting rainwater and just doing whatever you can. It's a nightmare. So having a well is essential in my opinion. I mean, I just like having water. I mean, I know there are some people out there that say, oh, I can do it without it, and do. They are able to survive with limited amount of water. I just can't. Of course, we drink a lot of water. We don't drink anything but coffee and water. We don't drink sodas or anything. I mean, occasionally when we go to Dollar General and it's hot outside or something, we might pick up a Pepsi, but rarely do we drink anything but water and coffee. This well to me is worth the entire price of the property. That's how important water is to me. That being said, it's had its issues. So as you can see, I have built a building around. I've talked about this a lot, so anybody's been around since last year, 1 year ago. Wow, almost a year ago now. I built this. I put concrete floor down. I put this pipe in. I put I forget what that's called. Anyway, something to seal up the well casing. I forget what that's called. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I've done a lot of work to this to keep groundwater from getting down into the well. Now this well was probably dug in the late 60s, early 70s. And back then, they did not run the well casing all the way down to the water level. They ran it down to bedrock. Well, bedrock allows water seepage. So you have bedrock and then you have that water layer down there below the bedrock. Again, I don't know all the names. It's been a long time since I've said any of it. So you got dirt, this bedrock, especially here in Missouri. I mean, we're up here on the mountains in Missouri, and it's just all rock. And then it gets into the water level, the water table, I guess is what it's called. They run that well casing back then. They ran it right down to bedrock because I don't think they cared that water was seeping through bedrock. See, that's what happens is when it rains, the water gets down into the dirt and then it starts to seep into the bedrock, and that bedrock just kind of drips down into the well, into the water table. There's nothing I can really do about that. What I did do with this though is I kept all that rainwater from going down into the well. So when it's a mild rain, an hour or two, nice little shower, this thing does fine. Whereas it used to, it was terrible. It just would not keep the dirty water out of it. Every time it rained, the well would get dirty, the water table. I put a French drain. It's all covered up with leaves, but you can see the rocks here. Put a French drain, that way any water runs down, goes into the French drain, and runs around down the hill. Keeps it away from the well pretty good. But on these all-day rains, or all-night rains, or multiple day rains, the well just, what I've done here, can't keep the water out because the water drains down into the dirt. It's all muddy down there by the chickens. I mean, it's just sloppy muddy. So this thing goes down about 100 feet. So you figure that all that water down to 100 feet, 70 feet, let's call it 70 feet, is in the ground. It's just sitting there in the ground. And that water drains down and it just seeps into the well. Well, it did that the other day. It did it one time last year, and it did it 2 days ago. It rained all night long. It was supposed to turn into snow, and I was really hoping it would turn into snow. But the ground was already saturated because the week before we had a big snow, and it slowly melted off. So the ground was already pretty mushy. And then it rained like 12 hours that night. So now it got dirty. So I flushed it once yesterday. I wait 48 hours is what I do. And then I pump all the water out. I just let it run off into the ditch down there. And then I got up this morning, did it again, and then just a few minutes ago I did it again. So that's 3 times. That should clean it up. My experience is 3 times pumping it out makes it nice and clean. If I don't clean it, my filters, I've showed you my filters. I got an inline hose, all the filters on a hose that runs over to the tank. Those filters get clogged up really fast. The filters can filter out the dirt. It does a really good job, but it only does it maybe 500 gallons is all I can get out of those filters with dirty water. So it's easier for me to just pump this out and flush it out. That way I save money on the filters. Now, when I bought this property, everybody said I needed the well tested. Everybody. I didn't test the well. I still haven't tested the well. Well, I went and bought one of those kits from Lowe's, but I mean, I've never had anybody officially come out here and test a well. I didn't have anybody come out here and work on the well. I did the well work myself. Because what would have happened is they would have condemned the well. Well, a well would have cost as much as the property did. Even though sometimes it gets dirty, I have water. Now think about this. People say, well, I'll collect rainwater and all that. Well, your rainwater is probably more dirty than this well gets after a rain. When you do it off your roof, you're collecting water off your roof, you got all that dirt off the roof. Bird droppings. I mean, that's very unsanitary. It's filthy. Got leaves and dirt and junk and dust. So if you can click onto this up next box, I'd really appreciate it. Take you over to the other channel. I hope I can inspire you to be happy in this time of so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.